All right, thanks, Tony. As we mentioned a moment ago, it's a profound question, really. What makes a father a father? It may sound like the simplest of questions, but it isn't, especially when the courts get involved. Now, ABC's Robin Roberts has been following what is a heart-rending custody battle between two men, each of whom says he should be recognized as the father of the same young boy.
So tonight, don't worry about these guys. Let's go out there and have some fun, okay? All right, let's get as soon as they're done.
Summer baseball games. For 12-year-old Timmie Meldrum of Winter, South Dakota, they're a poignant pleasure. It's not just that the Little League season will end soon.
Pick your pitch and make the pitcher pitch it to you.
Timmie knows his life is about to change forever, and this man won't be his father anymore.
Come on, Timmie. If they're in there, hit them. I've been there through please and thank you and yes and no, and the first bike accident, the scraped knees, the broken hearts.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
Farm.
Like Chuck?
Yes, like Dad.
Timmie Meldrum calls Chuck Novotny Dad, but he is not his biological father, and that is making all the difference. In 1992, when Timmie was a toddler, his mother Nancy left Timothy Meldrum Sr. She took little Timmie from Illinois to South Dakota, where she met and moved in with Chuck Novotny, a local rancher. Their new family began to grow. Baby brother Zach was born the next year. Nancy traveled a lot as an exotic dancer, and Chuck was granted temporary custody, even though Nancy and Chuck had never married.
I'd say he's been the most perfect father anybody could ever want.
It gets more complicated. Timmie's mother Nancy died in a car crash, and soon after, a court battle began between biological dad Tim Sr. and stepdad Chuck for custody of Timmie.
My mom had just died. We just got done with her funeral, and then he wants me. He's going to take me away from from the family I know.
Timmie and Chuck argued in court that apart from a 2-month visit last summer, Timmie had barely seen or spoken to Tim Meldrum Sr. in years. Tim Meldrum Sr. testified that he had tried repeatedly to arrange visits and phone calls, but had been rebuffed. Timmie admits he didn't want to take his calls and says that he considers Chuck to be his dad.
He's been there for me from 3 years old. He's been there over my shoulder, taught me all kinds of things.
What do you call your father in Illinois?
A stranger.
Doesn't that make you feel good at all?
No.
To know that he's been pursuing you, that he wants you?
No, because he hasn't really made any attempts.
But legally, he has, in the last couple of years, gone to the courts, and he's been very aggressive in the courts about wanting you back.
I've been here for so long. Why should I have to leave? This is where I live. This is where I know.
All his friends are here, his school's here, his family's here. It would really be a tragedy to just take him away from that and force him to go live someplace else against his will.
They fought in South Dakota court for 3 years. A judge last month issued a final decision. The judge ruled the biological father could be denied custody only if proved an unfit parent. In the end, the judge held that there was no evidence Tim Sr. would be an unfit father and ruled that Timmie must go back to him. The law almost always sides with biology, no matter what the child says. Timmie and Chuck are appealing the decision. This story has a second separation.
He's a pretty good brother. He's fun to play with. 2
brothers, Zach and Timmie. They've both lost their mother and will now lose each other.
Be careful, because there's nails in it. You want to take that to school for show and tell? Sure.
The court's decision has been especially hard for Zach, who is 7.
He's throwing some pretty drastic temper tantrums and fits over it. It's really hurt him. He's cried a lot.
How do you feel about that?
Really bad.
You don't want that to happen, do you?
It's going to be difficult for everybody involved. I mean, I have raised Timmie since he was 3.5 years old.
For Chuck and the boys, some good news. The court granted Timmie a 2-month visit to Chuck and Zach every summer, but that's little consolation to his baby brother. What will you miss most?
Timmie.
And Robin Roberts is here with us. There's an appeal on all this. When does the decision come on the appeal?
Well, actually, the South Dakota Supreme Court will possibly issue a stay today. We'll hear from the Supreme Court today. If they issue the stay, then Timmie can stay with his family in South Dakota. If not, then the decision will stand, and he will have to go to his biological father on Monday. But the appeal process is still yet to be heard from.
But as of now, he is supposed to be handed over to his biological father on Monday.
Monday.
Where?
By the letter of the law, they have to meet at a halfway point. So in a parking lot in the middle of Iowa, the exchange will take place. And Timmie looked in my eyes when I spent time with him last week, and he said he will not go. And he understands that his father, who he considers his father, Chuck, would then be charged with kidnapping if the exchange does not take place. But so if the state Supreme Court does not issue a stay today, then on Monday, he will have to go to his biological father. And by the way, Timmie Meldrum Sr. and his attorney both refused our request to be interviewed for this story.
All right, Robin Roberts, thanks very much. Appreciate it. We'll keep you up to date on what happens on this story. It is now 39 minutes after 7. When Good Morning